Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you all back to another episode and another edition of Black Law and Legal Lies, where we specialize in the legal lies. This week, we'll be telling the truth, though. My name is Dan. I am one of your hosts. You can keep up with me on Twitter and on IG. I need some more IG followers. I don't do shit on IG. I don't even be on there, but I just need more followers.
I just need more
feel
people
like
to follow me and watch me do nothing.
Exactly. I am Dan on Drugs. That's me on social. Keep up with the show across all social media platforms at Black Law Podcast.
Right.
I am joined today by
me, Afro Becky.
Oh, that's so cute.
Hi, everybody. How's your week going?
That's so cute.
We never ask listeners how they're doing.
How they gonna tell us?
Via
Just like
IG
you said.
or Twitter.
They don't be following me on IG, so shit.
And I'm just Dan. And
oh yeah, you.
Me. Yeah, you know.
Jane dead
Your
yet,
better
y'all.
half.
She
Anyway.
ain't dead yet, y'all.
Whatever. But let me tell you, even though he playing about me, man, I was half dead on Christmas, y'all. It almost
Christmas
happened.
was like 2 months ago, man.
It almost happened. Well, you said I ain't dead yet. I'm just saying. Hell, it almost happened, man.
Tell us what happened on Valentine's Day. Did you almost die on Valentine's Day 2020?
Christmas. Don't.
See what I'm saying?
Hate.
See, niggas start hollering out dates.
I said,
niggas,
okay, I could talk about Christmas.
I'm just saying, niggas start hollering
Damn,
out
no,
dates.
you don't want to give away the farm, fool. Anyway, follow me on Twitter at I Tell Legal Lies.
And Big Frida gonna be at her funeral.
Yeah, they already discussed him. Let me tell you, y'all can't kill me.
Juan LaFonta.
You can't kill bad grass.
LaFonta.
Not that I'm bad, but I am on that grass.
Yeah,
Not that I smoke.
Some grass.
Not that I smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you Exhibit A. Let's tell you what this week's episode is about.
Exhibit A.
Well, we'll get to Exhibit A. This week's episode is about selling your car. So,
and it's brought to you by the lovely people of Chick-fil-A.
Nah, son, fuck them.
Man,
They
you
tried to
cannot
jack
say
me.
that about Jesus.
They tried to jack
He's
me.
not saying that about Jesus. He's saying it about Chick-fil-A.
No.
Chick-fil-A
He's saying it
is
about
not
Jesus.
Jesus.
Do you know that Jesus and Chick-fil-A go hand in hand? This is a religious organization. You can't say that about
well,
Chick-fil-A.
let me tell you what they did. First, they tried to steal my money because this jackass said,
No.
I'm going to the Chick-fil-A.
No, I said I was getting
down
off on
this
Clearview.
way. And then I'm
I said I was getting
bet.
off on Clearview. I ain't
So
saying
I
nothing
sent my
about
order
going to
into the
Clearview.
Chick-fil-A.
Thank you.
And then she get to talking about, they said send your receipt. I'm like, that's new. Sent her my receipt. You ordered to the one on Clearview. Yeah, that's when you said you're going. So we called Chick-fil-A and was like, hey, give me a refund. We can't do that. You have to come in here with the card. It was a virtual credit card. Well, we can't do call corporate. Corporate talking about what's your home address? What you need that for? So Becky like, what you need that for? Let's get my money back. So had to jump through all these hoops and finally got them to issue a refund after about 30 minutes. And then the motherfucker's gonna say, is there anything else I can assist you with today, ma'am? Becky like, nope. Well, God bless you. And hung up the phone.
Bless
like,
you.
get the fuck you give me my money,
see
bitch.
That? Really?
Yeah.
Going to hell.
And I'm taking that bitch on the phone from Chick-fil-A with me. Trying
died.
to steal my money. Chick-fil-A, just like all these other pastors, they be stealing. They be stealing your money.
Chick-fil-A would never steal because stealing is a sin. It's against one of the 10 commandments.
So it's gluttony.
Chick-fil-A not gluttonous.
Oh,
They're
yes,
actually
they are.
they are actually very, very, very
greasy, fried, milkshake to
not
the
at all.
side,
Not at all.
French fries,
They are
waffle
very
fries.
health conscious. Superfood sides, thank you.
Yep.
Very health conscious.
Superfood.
Anyway.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today what we're going to be talking about is selling your car. So, most of us, typically when we go to get rid of a car, we'll trade it in at a dealership and take pennies on the dollar and then end up getting like maybe a couple thousand less than what the car is worth. Yeah. And then they're going to overcharge you for the next car you buy.
Right.
So, it's almost like you're giving them a car for free. So we're going to talk about some of the things you can do if you're doing a private sale. But before we do that, I'd like to present Exhibit A. Becky, how many cars have you sold privately? That means you.
2.
2 cars.
I had to think about it. 2.
Okay. In doing so, what was the process? What was your process in selling these cars?
I believe I posted an ad on Craigslist for a car. I ended up finding a buyer.
Did the buyer find you?
We found each other.
Okay.
Reunited and it
was a match.
So good.
Somebody swiped right on my car.
Wow.
Man,
what you know about swiping right?
I just hear what's on TV. That's all.
Nah,
That's a
they
little
don't
too
have that
specific.
on TV.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
A little too
Okay.
specific.
All right.
Okay. So then we write up a bill of sale, and
Who wrote up the bill of sale?
I did. I
Okay.
pulled it from the internet.
Absolutely.
Okay, that always works.
And they gave me money. I gave them the bill of sale with the title.
What was their form of payment?
Cash.
Okay.
Yeah, they give me the cash.
Wait
I
a minute, this sounds like some
She
other
swiped
transaction. Swipe right and they gave you the cash.
All right.
And Craigslist?
Mm-hmm.
This was years ago.
Ooh.
So?
Anyways,
Lucky you didn't get hooked up with the Craigslist killer. You know, he was swiping right and giving women cash before he killed them.
I was lucky, wasn't
Mm.
I? Yeah, I give them in exchange for money. I give them the bill of sale along with the title.
Okay, so did you have to do anything in particular with the title before giving
I
it
had
to
to
him?
sign it saying that what the odometer reading was and that I was the owner.
Okay, and
And transferring.
did you have to get anything notarized? Did you have to go anywhere other than wherever you met the buyer?
To the DMV and the title place. Or the title place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's clarify a little. You gave them money. Well, they gave you money.
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
Oh, we both went to the title company and showed it to the people.
She tried to, ladies and gentlemen, a few weeks ago, she tried to rent our place out for $51. Okay, so you're at the title place. So you meet up, exchange the money before going to the title place, or do you exchange
I
money?
don't remember, okay?
Okay.
This was years ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, the people at the title place were also notaries.
Okay.
So they notarized the bill of sale and the and updated the title
Okay.
and then issued them a new title.
Now, did you sell this car as is with no implied warranties?
Yep.
Was that in writing?
I believe it was on the bill of sale.
Okay. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you sell a car.
Yep.
Swipe right, give them money.
No, they give you money.
Right.
Yeah.
You're selling it.
Yeah.
same
Swipe
thing.
right, they give you money.
My bad. I swipe right and I give them money, but
Exactly
that's for
right.
something a little different. So in selling cars, right? I can tell you, Becky's one car that she sold was a piece of shit.
Wow.
This car was a piece of shit. Let me tell you. One day, really, I was walking out to her car. Fucking what are they called? The little cops that ride around Lafayette Park, park police, rolled up on me and was like, "Excuse me, sir, you have to pick that up." I said, "What?" It's like, "That pile of shit." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. You're right."
That joke really fell flat.
You're right.
Moving on.
So,
Moving on.
her car had a blown head gasket, and I'm sure that
Damn, what y'all sell it for? Like 500?
25.
Damn.
But
blown head gasket and all.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with the term blown head gasket.
What type
because
of car
that
was it?
equates to big money to replace.
Yes. What type of car was it?
It was an old car. It was a Chevy Cavalier.
Mm.
So I could have disassembled her engine and put a new head gasket. Head gaskets cost about $17. cost about $1,500 to $1,700 to have it put on at a shop because you're essentially pulling the entire engine apart.
Engine apart. That's right.
So we went to AutoZone, bought a $20 bottle of this shit that you pour in the radiator that ends up clogging
It's
up
like
your
the cement. That cement.
yeah, it's a
stuff.
sealant.
Mm-hmm.
Poured that in there, and her car stopped leaking coolant, and it was good to go. It was riding around. So what we did was, in the description when we listed it, we disclosed that this car has a blown head gasket, and what we did in order to remedy it temporarily was use a bottle of that shit that you pour in there that hardens. No, that's not a permanent fix, and no, that is not. Ladies and gentlemen, seriously,
Don't do this at home.
unless you have to. If you're financially strapped for cash and you can't go out and get a new car, it works for a little while, but it also causes other problems because you're pouring a glue-like substance into your cooling system. But so with that being said,
We disclosed what was wrong with it.
do you see anything wrong with that so far? We disclosed it in the description. Becky printed out a bill of sale and said, as is, no implied warranties. So let's say 2 days, 3 days later, because we've seen this happen a lot too. 3 days later, the car breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
I want my money back. Who wouldn't think that? I want my money back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. You bought the car.
Okay.
As is.
So
No warranties.
So as we're always saying, anybody can sue anyone for anything.
If you're buying Becky's car, you can't afford to sue.
And having said that, we had an episode where we talked about retribution, and it is basically Louisiana's version of lemon law. And even though, so let me preface this by saying, once again, anybody can sue anyone for anything. There are certain things that you do. The fact that you disclosed in the ad that there was a blown head gasket was a good thing. What I would also do in situations like that is in the bill of sale, also put exactly, because this is the thing that you know, that you are aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So you say as is with no implied warranty.
Mm-hmm.
So with no expressed or implied warranties is better.
Wait, what does expressed do to change
Either
that?
you say it
Right.
to them,
Expressed is you're saying
or put it in writing.
specifically X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
Implied is, even though I'm not saying it,
I'm kind of like, I got you if something go wrong.
this, that. So,
Okay.
as I said, no warranties expressed or implied.
That's your phone?
And then did what?
Buzzing.
Maybe.
Put it on top of your iPad case.
Mm-hmm. And so what you want to do as well in when you're saying, so, and this is something that I do specifically because I know about retribution, but most of the bill of sales that you find online, even the ones that come from the DMV, will not have that particular word in it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, as is, no warranties expressed or implied, including but not limited to warranties of retribution.
Mm.
So you're basically waiving your right to
Right. So you're telling them, and they are specifically waiving any sort of retributory action. And like I said, if you know what's wrong with it, you put it in the ad for the car. You can also put it in the bill of sale. You could say you're selling it as is, including but not limited to blown head gasket, whatever, with no warranties, implied or express, including but not limited to
Head gas. Okay.
retribution,
Right.
warranty of retribution, and then go from there. So somebody is physically looking at this and saying, hey, I'm buying this car and it says that it has a blown head gasket. I'm buying this car and it says that they're not warranting it against anything. Now, a lot of times, we have warranties or they warrant it for peaceable possession, sorta, meaning you're saying that you own it and nobody can come and tell you or tell the buyer that you didn't have a good title to it, that it's yours. You're telling them it's mine. It's not subject to any mortgages or
Liens.
Liens, yeah.
anything like that. Now, if you're saying all that and it actually is subject to liens or anything, you're in trouble because you just said it was one thing. and
That's
it's
fraud,
not.
ain't it?
So,
So check this. Becky's second car.
mm-hmm.
It was an old Honda Accord.
You got it backwards, but okay.
Wait.
Oh, the first car you sold was the Accord?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the second one that we're going to speak about right now.
Okay.
Becky had an old Honda Accord that had something that could have been easily fixed by someone who was familiar with cars. So I tried to fix it and I'm like, this bolt ain't coming off for the crankshaft. So I'm like, well, I'm sorry, Becky, but you're probably going to have to take it to the dealer and have them crack the nut. She takes it to the dealer. Dealer got the big super power tools that I ain't got.
And did they crack the nut?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
The previous owner welded it to, so they're like, you got to cut that bitch off and then you got to get a whole new crankshaft and a whole new, like, that shit was thousands and thousands of that, worth more than a car. So it's like, okay, got to get rid of this car too. Same thing, Craigslist ad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So-and-so Honda Accord with a welded crankshaft pulley on it. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, because that other car that she sold with the blown head gasket, we would see that car around for like at least another year on the road. I'm like, damn, should have kept that bitch. But we thought the shit was gonna fail. But this car, I'm like, there ain't no way no one's gonna touch this. Because if the dealer can't fix it, I can't fix it. Ain't no fucking way. Well, shout to all my Asians out there and their Hondas.
Stupid.
No, because the people who pulled up to look at it, I'm like, that's exactly who I would picture pulling up to look at a Honda.
Asian person?
Young Asian
You're
dude.
so racist.
No.
But okay.
I grew up working on cars and some of the stereotypes are true. But
So stupid. Some of the stereotypes are true.
they are.
You are dumb.
Asians love Hondas and they used to fuck with Toyotas tough too.
Out of here.
But shout out to all my Asians out there. But nah, dude was like, I'm like, shit. So I went with Becky because I wanted to explain. Because if I tell you the crankshaft bolt is welded on, to
That's
you,
not going to
you're
mean
like,
zilch.
okay.
What that mean? Mm-hmm.
So the dude happened to know about cars and told him, like, look, the crankshaft pulley bolt is welded on. No one can get it off. He was like, psh, I got it. So he test drove the car.
You didn't know that he had a chop shop somewhere?
Man, I'm
That
telling
dude-
you.
Shit.
But what I honestly, I think he bought the car for parts. I think he needed some other shit in there that was cheaper to just
Than
buy the
just-
whole
right.
car. And so
'Cause,
yeah,
they be like modifying that shit for racing and
yeah.
yeah.
That's why I said the stereotypes. See, and you over there just
No,
perpetrating.
no. It is not.
Perpetuating this.
I said that because them fools in the Vietnam village, they do it all the time. I know some of them boys back there, and that's what they do. They buy these old cars and they
pimp them.
They lower them. They put lights underneath them. They put them freaking spoilers on the back. They modify them for racing. They have illegal racing back there on shelf all the time.
And on Almanasta. So anyway, same situation. Notified him. He's like, cool, boom. Same thing, right, Becky? Bill of sale.
Yep.
Same thing, no implied warranties, blah, blah, blah. Same thing, went down to the title place. And so anyway, what the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because so many of our people get bamboozled at car dealerships. And I've mentioned that before in a few other episodes. We go in there. First thing
Tell
they
them what
ask
we want to
you
pay.
is, what do you want to pay a month? That's not how you shop for anything other than a place that you're renting.
Right. So, Dan,
Yes.
we need your negotiating tactics.
My negotiating tactics are good. And my negotiating tactics are as simple as this. Be prepared to walk away. And it's not a bluff. I'm really walking away. That's it. That gets the job done every single time.
So don't appear desperate, basically.
And research. Know how much this damn car is worth in your area. Because let me tell you, different areas make differences in prices.
Yeah, trucks are cheaper in the South than up north.
Your
truck, because I'm looking for a new truck right now. Down here, about 40-ish. Up north, back up in D.C., same truck, same mileage, probably about 55.
Right. So know what the market in your city is. And if you're buying a used car, honestly, don't be afraid, in spite of what you just heard from Dan and Becky, don't be afraid of a private seller. Literally, anything that you can do at a dealership, you can do with a private seller. If you want to take this car and bring it to your mechanic, you can. You can. If you want to bring your mechanic with you and have the mechanic look at it, you can. More often than not.
That's old school because mechanics actually used to do that. You can go to a shop and say, "Hey, I'm looking at a car. Can you come? Can I pay you to come with me?" That's not so much these days.
I gotta do that. What you got? I gotta do. Look, holla at me. I gotta do that. We'll do that for you.
These days, what you got are people like myself or people like the Asian dudes. People who know about cars and kind of know what to look for.
Not care if I take that back.
Everything's wrong. Like they put this hood on a quarter of an inch slight, and I think that's gonna end up bending the frame over the years and the floor mat. Don't make them pay you for the floor. That's
right.
Kev.
Guess what? They don't come with floor mats.
that's Kev. That dude. They look, ladies and gentlemen.
That's my people.
Love them to death, but they took the man's floor mats out of his used car he was buying and then turned around and sold them to him separately.
That's correct.
They said another $300.
$300?
Did not come with floor mats. Like, what car do you know that doesn't come with floor mats? For real.
The one.
Like, for everything. Have you ever bought a car that didn't have floor mats?
I actually
Even
did.
A used car.
I did. My Saturn didn't have back floor mats.
Man, but it had front ones though, right?
Yeah.
This dude had none.
They took them bitches out and sold them to him.
And then talk about it didn't come with floor mats. Dude, stop. Just stop.
Yeah, they got them for $300. But the going back to the lot is, we say often, how much do you want to spend a month? Don't answer that question because you can buy a 2001 Geo Metro or you can buy a 2019 GMC Yukon and say I want to spend $300 a month.
Right.
They got cars they're trying to get rid of. They got cars that have been sitting on their lot for a long time that nobody wants. Right. So if you're shopping by how much I want to pay a month, they're going to steer you to these cars. And I've heard, and you've heard this too, some of the people we work with is, why'd you get that car? Because that's all I can afford. They showed me what cars I could afford if I wanted to pay $300 a month. That's not how it works.
Right.
So what
Absolutely.
would be your response, or what is your response when they ask you that question?
You saw it just the other couple weeks ago,
I'm
but
just
I'll let the
saying,
people
sharing
know.
with the listeners.
Yeah. So I went to look at a 2015.
What happened to that 2018?
I'm still, So I went to look at either 2015 or 16 GMC Yukon. The asking price was very reasonable. And I go down there and then they're like, there's a recall on it. We can't sell it. So I'm like, shit. Well, so he's like, so you're looking to buy a car in this price range? No, I'm looking to buy that car at the price it was listed at. Oh, okay. Well, what you can do then is just leave me your number, and if they fix the recall, we'll call you. So basically, I'm cutting all the bullshit out because it ain't no you looking to spend between this and this. Well, we
Right.
got these
No,
other cars.
I'm
No,
looking to
I'm
buy
here
this
for
car.
this.
And something else, you've heard me mention it before. It pays to mention it again. I've said that it's in previous episodes. Retribution. Do not let a dealer, even if you are buying something as is. I actually had a case, and client buys this Honda.
Were they Asian?
No, they were not. Client buys this Honda, and like paint starts peeling or something.
The clear coat on the hood.
Yeah,
Yep.
you remember?
Mm-hmm.
So clear coat, as Dan says, starts peeling. And so they like to go to California Customs to get body work done. So they go to California Customs. People at California Customs tells them, man, this thing been in an accident. Number one. Number two, the hood that's on it is not the hood that's supposed to be on this model. Number three, like the thing has so much Bondo and all kind of other stuff, like showed them everything that was wrong with this vehicle.
So obviously they didn't have a mechanic inspecting it.
Well,
before they purchased it.
a mechanic would not
Would
have
not
caught
have
that.
seen that, right?
I would not have caught that because I saw the car when
And
said
it
person
looked,
got it.
I saw it too. Car looks nice. I mean, car was like the hood, and the way the hood looked, one of the reasons why the client purchased the car. Like
Mhm.
it was a nice looking vehicle. So you never would have had that clear coat not come up. Never would have known that this car was in an accident because, they checked out the what was it? The
Carfax.
that is
Let
Carfax.
me jump in real quick with this Carfax because that was a big thing they were advertising in the early to mid 2000s.
Mhm.
Check the Carfax. Check the Carfax. Well, let me tell you, with my current truck right now, if you run my truck through Carfax, you will find 0 accidents.
Mhm.
Do you know I've been in numerous accidents?
Right, because you self-report
Right.
with Carfax, right? And
No, your insurance company does.
Because I thought it was self-reporting
No.
because when you
and I thought
because-
mechanics reported too whenever they do the scheduled maintenance and
certain things the mechanics do report. So like I can pull up my Carfax, it'll show which dealer the parts the dealer replaced. So
Mhm.
my car was, before I bought it, it was taken in for like a new alternator, new this, new that. All that's in my Carfax report. But with my accidents were more like just a little bumper, boom, scratch. Psh, you good? Don't worry about it. We good, and move on. So without going through my insurance company to have it replaced, like the one time we were driving and there was a car, we're going 80 miles an hour, car in front of me, their back bumper came off, hit the hood of my truck. Becky is sleeping in the and I'm just like, we fitting to die because this life slows down when some shit is coming to kill you.
Yeah.
So like this bumper, I saw it come flying off, and it's like slow motion, like, and I'm like, there's literally nothing I can do. I can't slam on brakes because then the person behind me gonna hit me.
hit you,
I
right.
can't get over
You
because
can't swerve, right?
so I'm like, here we go, brace for impact. boom. That shit hits the hood of my truck, and it was a little car. My truck sits up high, rolls over the windshield, rolls over the top of my truck, hits maybe the car behind me, and then that's when I'm looking in my rear view. I'm like, then you start seeing cars stop.
Mm-hmm.
So pull over at the next thing, look at my truck. I'm like, fuck. So called it in to Geico. I'm like, it happened here. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. So took it down, and like the amount of work or something, like my deductible at the time was kind of high. So I would have had to pay out of pocket essentially to cover my deductible. So I fixed the shit myself. And guess what? That's not on Carfax because Geico did not
Make a
go through
pay.
with the claim. And so those Carfax are bullshit, people.
Right. They really are. So as I said, got the Carfax, did all this stuff. Car was clean supposedly, but going back, California Customs literally broke it all down, showed them everything, because in the end, the whole car had to be repainted because the people who had done the paint job after whatever, like California Custom did it right. They said because it was warped, you couldn't see it with the naked eye, but you could feel it once you knew what to look for. So they had put so much Bondo on this, like it got hit in the door, and they didn't change the door. They literally just spackled the Bondo on, and then sanded it down, whatever you do.
So kind of like drywall.
Yeah, that's exactly
repair.
how Bondo works. Yeah,
painted over it and everything. So, and this client had paid a pretty penny for this vehicle, and because it was a fairly new Honda, and Hondas, they'll last forever.
Pretty much. More. They used to last forever.
So, comes to me, and I'm like, all right, let me see like the bill of sale. Let me see what's going on. Once again, as is, it was a used car. No implied or express warranties, yada, yada, yada. But the thing about retribution is, you might waive expressed or implied warranties. But as far as retribution goes, if it is a hidden defect, right? Which these were hidden defects.
And they were hidden good too.
Right. Hidden defects that the seller knew about but did not disclose. It's almost like, how can you waive something that one person knows, doesn't disclose? It's like, it's a trap. I know that as soon as you buy this and I walk away, the roof go fall down, because what I did was I put some toothpicks up there just to stabilize it until the sale goes through.
Better example. So this one time, right? This was like probably a couple months ago, right? Hooked up with this chick, and I'm like, I'm gonna give you,
goodbye.
I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. No, I'm gonna give you 10
does
minutes.
not apply
and then
to that.
It does, because I said I'm gonna give you 10 minutes, but I already knew I was defective, and she was only getting 6. So
does not apply.
So she filed a so
does not apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, back on topic though. I do want again to warn everyone, if you're shopping for a car, to just be aware that the dealers, the salespeople, they're paid on commission.
They're not your friend.
Not your friend.
Retribution does apply.
Anytime a black man comes up to me on a car dealer lot, no, I'm serious, because we code switch. We do that, but you don't do that at a place of business where I'm about to drop 40 grand. So
yeah, you do.
If you, not me. If you walk up to me, yeah, what's up, bruh? What's up?
See, but
nope,
it's because he is trying to get you to be comfortable with him.
I'm not comfortable.
Basically saying, look, dude, you one of us. We together.
But I don't speak like that.
We gotta stick together.
I don't speak like that.
Man, you hood.
No, I'm not.
You a hood, baby.
No, I'm
you
not.
are hood. Don't walk into the dealership talking about, yes, Jeeves, I would like to see.
That's Becky, you see me in the dealership.
Yep.
What do I do?
You pulled a Heathcliff act.
See what I'm saying? Like I said, don't go in there acting like you all Heathcliff Huxtable. You're not.
Well, I would like to buy. No, so
No, retribution. You didn't let me finish. Like I said, retribution applies to use things, and if it is a hidden defect that the dealer knows, they have to disclose. If they do not, one of two things you can do. Have the whole transaction reversed. They give you your money back, or they give you money because you are saying had they been truthful and given you the rundown on this defect, you would not have paid what you paid. So moral of the story is we got monies back.
Yo, so anyway, dealerships, yeah. The reason why I'm doing this episode again is when you are trying to get rid of your car, the easiest way is to trade it in. And when you go to these Kelley Blue Books, go to Edmunds, go to all these other places that value your used car, everyone thinks what they own is worth more than it is. That's just because there's an emotional or sentimental attachment to it. But at the end of the day, don't go in there and put a 5 or 6 year old car in as excellent condition. It's just not the case.
Right.
You go with good, you go with average.
Fair.
But yeah, you'll see the differences in between third party sale and trade-in. And there's usually a couple thousand because the dealership wants to make a profit.
Correct.
And that money can be going into your pocket. So if your trade-in is worth $7,000 at a dealership, but you can sell it for $9,500, sell it for $9,500. That's $2,500 in your pocket.
In your
extra.
pocket.
So just some of the things again to be aware of is bill of sale. Anything that you know is wrong with the car,
disclose.
Let the buyer know, because if not, it'll bite you in your ass. Do not accept checks.
Do not.
Don't accept checks. And I'm going to go.
Unless I was about to say, unless it is a cashier's check, but don't even do that days. Because, they can falsify those as well.
So cash at me.
Nope.
Don't bring me some cash.
Money.
Hard money.
Bring me some cash.
Okay, but now here's a question.
Let's go to the bank.
Let's say if it's being financed. Because my truck right now, let's say your truck. If someone wanted to buy your truck, very few people have the cash on hand that the value of your truck is. So they would finance it. Now we're talking about checks and wire transfers.
But in that case, so here's the thing. Let's say the buyer is banked at Chase or they bank at Regions, wherever you're going to get the financing from. You can go with them to the finance company. You can get the check directly from the finance company.
Yeah, that's what essentially your mother did.
Right, you get the check directly from.
Well, you know my mama, so
directly from the finance company. Well, you don't get it from. You still don't get it from them.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is,
let's share that experience and then we'll.
So, your mother sold me her vehicle.
Starting January.
And I applied for an auto loan.
Damn,
with my
mama,
credit.
why you do Becky like that, mama? Why you ain't self-finance that, mama? Damn.
To the credit union to get a loan. They approved the loan and said, okay, well, we need to pay the person that you're buying it from. So she had to, basically, they acted like the title company in that situation.
Right. And that is absolutely correct.
Man, did my mom at least give you a good deal on it?
I believe she did.
Okay. It's still running?
It's in the driveway right now.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it runs. It gets me from A to B.
Wait, and that was 10 years ago? Okay, you got your money's worth then. All right, Mama.
One other thing I wanted to mention, and you had brought this up earlier, Ann, is the actual bill of sale. I believe I actually did get it from the
DMV.
The DMV, website. But
it is a standard, and it is standard for Louisiana. And I know for a fact that in other states on their DMV sites, they do have standard bill of sales as well.
Right. But so you need to read them to make sure that they have the information that Ann shared with us.
And in other states, it wouldn't be called retribution. It'd be called...
Look for lemon laws in your state to see exactly what it's called. So, as we said, if you're not warranting a damn thing, be specific about that specific thing. Please do also, as we said, you need to disclose anything that you know to be wrong with the vehicle. Because if
Right.
they can prove that you knew that it was wrong, that's your ass, Mr. Postman.
Quick story too. And this will be it. Recently, at the place I work at, they're currently training new recruits, right? So one of these new recruits just recently bought a vehicle, SUV. So I'm trying to pull into the parking lot at my job to go into my office and do my thing, and I can't get in the parking lot because this truck is like sideways parked, blocking the entire parking lot. I'm like, who the hell? What is this? Oh, so and so's car broke down and they pushed it like this out of a parking spot. They pushed it. They were trying to push it and start it. They thought this was the 70s. Remember how you could do
The rolling start
yeah.
after you push.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, well, let's try to jump it because it was basically you put the key in and so it's like dead battery. So I'm like, let's try to jump it because they whatever. So she was telling me, man, I just bought this car 5 days ago. And I'm like, damn, where'd you buy it from? Because it was beat to hell. It was like 2003. It was beat to hell. And she's like, I bought it from a dealership. And I told them I ain't paying them the note until they fix it because they said they supposed to fix it. They're supposed to send a tow truck to pick it up. Tow truck ain't never came and picked it up. Last time I took it to them, I'm like, last time you only had it for 5 days. Last time I took it to them, they said they replaced the computer, but it started doing the same thing. So I have a code reader because, again, I'm very familiar with vehicles. I have a code reader. I plugged it in to read the codes on her truck. I have never seen so many codes in my life. That bitch had 13 codes. It had a bad transmission, a slipping transmission.
Ooh.
It had a problem with the fuel pump, all kinds of low voltage and electrical problems. It had random misfires, and I'm like, I'm thinking, I didn't say anything, but I'm thinking, who the fuck went with you to buy this? So again, in our people's minds, and I'm sure you've heard this before too, is they either gonna fix it or they gonna give me a new car. They're gonna do neither because I'm pretty sure they have their bases covered when it comes to paperwork and what you signed.
Hopefully, not. And that's something else that I forgot to mention as far as retributory claims are concerned. You do have to give them the opportunity to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a reasonableness standard that goes along with that. I mean, I wouldn't tell a little girl to holler at me because that sounds like a whole lot of work and a whole lot of trouble. I don't know how much she paid for that.
A lot.
But it's if it is coming up with transmission problems and all this other stuff, and they had to change the computer
They didn't change
in the
computer.
car.
Trust me, they didn't change the
Man,
computer.
look, that's a whole lot of stuff. But hopefully somebody will hip her to have somebody go and read. Now let me tell you, I had somebody, and I don't know how true this is. And once again, our people, I don't know what comes over us when we get on car lots because fairly smart people get really stupid on car lots. So, a friend of mine buys an SUV, and SUV starts having issues. They come to me and they say, I think I need to retain an attorney because X, Y, and Z is going on. Only had this car for a month, yada, yada, yada. So I say, can I see the paperwork? They bring me one sheet of paper. I'm like, that's it? I said, you don't have like a bill of sale. You don't have like, no, it was just the financing statement. You know, it's like the big, long, legal size yellow sheet of paper.
Kind of like the promissory note.
They tell you like what the car was, if they traded it in, what got taken off, tax, title, and then you sign it. And that was it. And I was like, that's all they gave you. That's all you have. And they said, yes. I say, okay. So And on that thing, it doesn't really say anything about warranties and
So it's pretty much a receipt.
Right. So I'm like, well, where's the rest of the paperwork? Because I'm sure this is not the only thing that you signed. And they go, no, I signed a whole lot of papers. You didn't get copies? No, this is all they gave me. So FYI, anything that you're signing, get copies of before you walk out the door.
Exactly. And then if not, you text somebody and say, hey, I need copies of everything that I signed, like immediately, because it's an emergency.
Right. So honestly, something else that we don't do, and I know, honestly, I say us because I am sometimes notorious for doing the same thing. We do not read what we sign.
Bullshit.
People tell you to sign your name on the dotted line, and you don't take the time to sign because you feel pressured to sign.
Well, actually, no. Let me not say bullshit. I read everything that's given to me to sign that has context with it. But there have been a few times where it's here, sign this. Usually it's Anne passing me something saying, here, your witness, I notarized this an hour ago.
Lies. Lies and more lies.
No.
America and beyond.
No,
lies.
she be doing that. I notarized this last week. You was there.
That lie. That is a lie. You've never been my witness, son.
A few times I have signed things without even reading or caring what they were because of who they were coming from. I'm
right.
like, whatever you need me to sign,
I'll
okay.
sign it. Well, here's a clue. That's all fine and dandy, but as you said earlier, car salesmen not your friends.
They not the ones.
Even if they are your friends, still read it, get copies of what you sign.
Everything in writing too. Here's another thing they'll tell you things like free oil changes for the next year, or bring it back for a free car wash. And this, if none of that shit is in writing, it doesn't
means
exist.
Nothing. Right, because they'll tell you oil changes for a year, free maintenance, to try to get you to buy it, and you say, "Ooh, that's good," and then you call up and you say, "Well, he said it's not in." That's why I said so. Find out about the retribution statute in your state. Find out about warranties, and in some states you can't waive certain warranties.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep that in mind. Everything in writing. Try to read what you sign. Walk out with a copy of everything that you sign. Trust me. If they tell you they can't give you copies, that is bullshit. If you signed your name to it, you can get a copy of it.
Right.
So I have one last question specifically for Anne.
I'll answer it though, but go ahead.
All right. On top of all the excellent tips that you have provided us,
I offer you excellent tip all the time.
Nah, I don't think it's excellent, but okay.
It was a question for me.
Do you have any further tips for women?
Oh, I got girl. I told you about the tips I got. 10 minutes, you get 6, and file a retribution law against me.
I file a retribution law. Jesus.
Additional recommendations.
As far as
buying cars?
As far as buying cars
Okay.
and dealing with salesmen, because
honestly, even though it burns to say it, bring a man with you, really, because car dealers tend to see women as fish on hooks. Mm-hmm. If you go by yourself, like you walk the minute.
Sometimes they did that shit to you.
The minute you walk on the lot, they start rubbing their hands together because the perception is you don't know anything about cars. I can tell you whatever I want to tell you, and you like shiny things. So all I got to do is show you something shiny.
Drop down DVD and yeah,
right.
That is true, but like some things that happened to you fairly recently in the past year. Your headlight. She has a problem with her headlight, water getting inside of her headlight. The dealer straight up told her that warranty won't cover it because it's like What was the reason they gave?
They said it was that particular light was cosmetic.
But it burnt out the bulb,
right.
Because of the water being in
Right.
there. So it's like, nah, you got to pay for the shit yourself. That is clearly a defect. But they thought that she was dumb enough. So she went and she called the warranty company. Can you explain to me how water getting inside of a sealed headlight is not a defect? Blah, blah, blah. But some dumbass just bought one anyway.
Shut up.
About like a broad, if you ask me.
Shut up.
No, but
don't do like that anyway.
Here are my tips, though. And my tips, I'm a frugal person. Be prepared to walk away. Even if you need a car today, act like you don't. Act like you're just browsing. Do not disclose any financial. Do not disclose your credit. Anything with your credit history, your credit score, or standing. Do not disclose that.
Right.
That is for them. It's kind of like if a policeman pulls you over, you're not going to say, "Officer, I have weed in the car," and let them find that shit out.
Right.
So, we do get judged by the way we look, people of color especially, dollar signs with women. So go in there knowing what you want to spend for a particular car. There's always wiggle room. Always. They'll try. Here's one for you that a lot of people might not know. If you finance, I recommend against financing through the dealerships. But if you finance through the dealership, they can tack on interest.
Right.
So if you would qualify for 6% interest anywhere else, dealer might hit you with 7, 8. They get to pocket the 2% difference. And somehow they're legally allowed to do this. And I guess it's because they're the ones financing.
And because, well, it's because that whole return on investment, the risk factor, because I'm loaning you my money, right? So I can set the interest rate. And especially if you're in a situation, and most of the times when the dealer actually finances, that's somebody who can't get financing elsewhere.
Wrong. They got me. My first car, I ain't gonna lie, I got 11.2% interest.
God.
With my credit score was 730 at the time.
Wow.
11.2.
You should have been about 2%.
Yeah. The going rate, my credit union was like 4.5 at the time. 11.2% because I didn't finance through the dealer, but I financed through Capital One at the dealer, and the dealer tagged on another 5% and got to keep that shit.
But you know what? If you are affiliated with a credit union,
but I paid that real quick. I paid that car off in 2 years, so the amount of interest really didn't matter.
It was negligible.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, credit unions are your best friends.
Yep.
If you're affiliated with a credit union, your credit union is your best friend when you're buying a car and you're talking about financing.
And they won't let you buy a car if it doesn't meet specific
standards.
qualifications.
That's correct. That is absolutely
So one
correct.
other protection.
Right.
For
So
you.
that's my thing. Don't, even if it is going through Capital One or whatever at the dealer, secure your financing outside of the dealer before you walk in.
With all my vehicles, I have
credit check. A lot of people are worried about, okay, well, if I apply for it now and then I don't find a car that I like, I'll have a hard inquiry on my credit. You can run that same inquiry on your credit as many times as you like.
If it's an auto, a certain period of time.
Yeah.
It's an auto loan. You can hit that 20 times and it will not affect your score.
Right. It'll be one hard inquiry, basically. So that's secure financing outside. Be prepared to walk away. Nowadays we have Uber, so it's not like back when we came up when we had taxi cabs that charge an arm and a leg.
And the bus.
And
if
that's
the bus
it.
came your way.
Right.
But you know, you remember when I was looking for a car, it took me 6 months?
That shit took you like a year. And we have another friend that's going through the
6
same
months,
thing.
Exactly right.
This nigga ain't had a car in about a year and a half, and every time he gets one, every time he buys a car, he's in a rental 3 months later for a year. Like, come on, dude. So, but anyway, and then if you're selling, again, disclose everything you know about this car. Maybe even have it looked over. If not for the buyer's peace of mind, for yours, knowing that they won't come back on you and say, yo,
you sold me a piece of crap and you didn't disclose it. Dan is absolutely. But the flip side to that is what you don't know won't hurt you. So if the mechanic actually finds something that makes the car unsellable, that's a problem. But
I'd
you
rather.
know, err on the side of caution. Know what it is that you're giving to someone, because not only can it affect you as far as, hey, I want my money back. You may have some liability if what is going on with the car in turn affects someone's life. You know, so
Airbag don't deploy or some shit.
right,
Yeah.
exactly right. So if you know this,
Car doesn't stop. You know.
right, if you know that it has brake issues, you know that X, Y, and Z, and it could affect the drivability of the car, that can cause an accident, that can take this person's life or severely injure this person. Liability can come running down your street, man. So,
Man, I don't know how to hawk tie nobody.
So-
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Black Law and Legal Lies. Hope you learned something today. We're trying to make these next few episodes teachable and learnable moments. My name is Dan. You can keep up with me on Twitter and IG at I am Dan on Drugs. Keep up with the show on all platforms at Black Law Podcast.
and you can follow me, Just Dan, at I Tell Legal Lies on Twitter.
And this is Afro Becky.
Becky,
Thanks for listening.
used
Enjoy
car,
the rest of your week.
used car
Yes.
salesman.
Lord Jesus.